Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. We are going to be tracking the rain moving in later on tonight and into the day tomorrow. And Tania, do we have that story here off the top? All right, I want to take you to, first off, I had a great visit today, and I want to let you know I was over in Etowah, or Calhoun County. I visited the EMA and had a chance to speak with Kevin Jenkins, the 911 director there in Calhoun County, about some of the ways that folks there can stay weather ready.
We are at the Calhoun County 911 Center, and within our 911 Center, we have an emergency broadcast studio that serves two local low-power FM radio stations that you can tune into. In Jacksonville, 96.3 FM, and then if you're down in the Oxford area, from our Coldwater Mountain Tower site, we're on 95.9 FM. You can also stream us online. You can go to our website, www.calhouncounty911.org, and you'll see a link on there. You can listen to us on streaming if you're not here in Calhoun County. But Wes, what we do here is we simulcast WBRC Fox 6 anytime you guys are live with severe weather coverage. So it's a great way for police officers, firefighters, citizens. We know sometimes you can't be at home during severe weather, but you're out there in the car and you need a source of information. You can tune us in and you hear Wes live and in real time as he's doing his magic to keep us all apprised of the situation. So this is our FM broadcast studio, Wes. Of course, across the hall is our 911 center, where we answer all 911 calls in Calhoun County, dispatch fire and police and ambulances, and in general, always stay here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and so is the radio station. It's always on the air.
Yeah, it's quite the facility there, and had a great chance to speak to Kevin, the entire team there, and much thanks for all they do. Of course, that's right there in the Jacksonville area in Calhoun County, and that's an area that knows and very familiar with severe weather, knows all too well about active weather. Of course, we'll never forget that Jacksonville most recent tornado that moved through that area there and impacted campus, but certainly doing their part to keep folks in Calhoun County weather radio. Great drive over today to the Anniston, Oxford, Jacksonville areas. I enjoyed that ride along Quintard Avenue, but I did notice when I got around Lincoln and the Talladega Super Speedway, it was a little bit hazy, and that's because we still have some of those prescribed burns that's been happening. But it's getting windy now. We've had a south wind that's been driving some of that haze off to the north direction, but as we go over to radar, and that's what we've been detecting pretty much so far, is just those little pockets, some of those smoke plumes from earlier today. But it's getting windy out there now, though, and our attention is going to turn into some rain moving in here later on tonight. Currently 70 degrees in Tuscaloosa, 67 in Birmingham, 68 right now for our friends here in Anniston. And this is some of the warmest weather that we have had all week long. As Tania noted earlier today, we'd see those temperatures in the 70s. We enjoyed that nice warm up this evening. You can see there cooling off into the 60s around 8, 9 o'clock tonight. We'll see those temperatures there close to, looks like cooling off there in the 60s. And then late tonight, the rain comes back. Look at this. Tomorrow, rain likely. Went with a high of 62, but that is going to be a little bit tricky there when you look at that temperature for tomorrow, because the rest of the day, temperature takes a tumble. In fact, this time tomorrow, we're probably going to have some 40s on the map. We've got freezing temperatures coming back Saturday night and into Sunday, Sunday night and into Monday, and you can see there just a small chance of a shower for Tuesday. We had some data that was showing a system moving across Georgia and may generate some isolated showers across East Alabama, but that's why we had that small chance of rain. But the good thing about this time of the year, you see these cold snaps, well, it won't last long, because you can see we do warm back up into the 70s. But we'll go in for a deeper dive into that 7-day forecast here coming up on Weather Extra. But also coming up here on Weather Extra, we're going to take a look at the excessive rainfall that's been happening out west. More on that snow. In fact, so much snow has been impacting parts of the country, it's causing some roofs to collapse. And we'll get into timing. I've got some forecast radar data on that St. Patrick's Day rainmaker that we're talking about. Could be some severe storms down into South Alabama, and we'll get into that weekend freeze as we continue right here on Weather Extra.
We We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
Some people may think you're overreacting. Some may ask, is there a storm coming? That's okay, because knowing the first alert has helped you beat the rush. Being prepared puts you in control and changes the what if to you're okay. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
If you have plans for this weekend, we have a first alert for a wintry mix.
When you need to know next week, tomorrow, or even right now, the WBRC First Alert Weather Team is always on your side, whenever and wherever you need us. This is why we First Alert.
All right, well, welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm your First Alert meteorologist, Tania Michelle, and it's so good to see all of you on this Thursday evening. Right now, we're going to first take a look and check in with First Alert meteorologists Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson on the latest drought monitor and rainfall update for the month of March. Take a look.
All right, Mickey, the drought monitor just was issued to this morning, and I just want to give everybody an update on how much rain we've seen so far this month.
Well, let's take a look. This is our monthly average rainfall, and that shows 3.23 there, Matt.
Yeah, that's how much we've seen, but on average, March is actually one of the wettest months of the year. We usually record over 5.5 inches, and you know what? I think we're going to make up that total as we go into tomorrow. So
we are, and we've had a lot in February as well, in January, so we're doing pretty good as far as the year is concerned. But average rainfall in March, you can see at 5.5 inches for Birmingham, almost 5 inches for Tuscaloosa, and a little over 5.25 for Anniston.
Yeah, so I mean, it makes sense. We're halfway through the month, and it looks like those rainfall totals are about half of that average. So we've got another several
on track.
Another few weeks to get up to norm as we go into the second half of the month. Here's a look at the estimated rainfall across the country over the past 5 days. And if you look towards California, you start seeing those orange and red colors. We're talking about lots of rain. They've had what they call an atmospheric river, or just a plume of moisture just continuing to batter that.
Rain and snow.
Yeah, lots of it. So they're dealing with lots of issues. Thankfully, it is winding down. But look towards the southeast. We've had a decent amount of rainfall, especially towards southern Arkansas into Mississippi and the southern half of the state going into Florida. Mickey?
Yeah, so we're doing pretty good here at home. Now, South Alabama is still struggling with a little bit of drought, but as far as our area is concerned, it's looking good. But man, in the midsections of the country, they have some extreme drought going on now.
Yeah, it's been very dry across the central U.S. Of course, gotten pretty wet across the western parts of the country, and of course the eastern half not having to deal with a lot of drought concerns. However, Florida's seeing some drought and abnormally dry conditions starting to develop in South Alabama. But here locally, we are doing all right. And I think with more rain on the way tomorrow, I think we're still going to be good going into next week. But here's a look at the potential rainfall for the next 2 to 3 days. And notice the eastern half of the country, Mickey, will likely see the best chance for some rain.
There you see it. This is potential rainfall all the way through Sunday. So, yeah, that's going to add to the totals there and help to get us up to pretty much to where we need to be. by the middle and end of the month.
And speaking of the rain, of course, spring break, a lot of people are making plans to go to the Gulf Coast. Of course, this rain's going to move in tomorrow, and so they're looking about a half of an inch to an inch of rainfall along the Alabama Gulf Coast and the Florida Panhandle. But this is just for Friday. If you've got any plans to head on to the beach, Saturday's looking better, but
chilly.
Yeah, when I'm thinking beach, I'm not thinking a high of 56 degrees.
Yeah, 56 with a north wind at 19 miles an hour. That's going to be pretty darn chilly for spring breakers, but hey, still the beach.
You're getting away from where you're at. So we're looking at that weather on the go. Make sure you download the WBRC First Alert weather app and get all those updates hour by hour.
Okay, snap a picture while you're there too. Send it to us through the First Alert weather app.
Yes, do not forget to send us your photos. But here is more rainfall. This is at Arizona creeks, and they have high levels of rainfall, or actually high levels in terms of their creek amid the heavy rainfall and storms just from yesterday. Overflowing creeks in Yavapai County, Arizona has prompted evacuation orders, and it doesn't take much water to even float a vehicle. The National Weather Service tells us that 2 feet of rushing water can actually carry away most vehicles, including sport utility vehicles and SUVs. And now we're going to go and check out what NASA and SpaceX are up to. NASA and SpaceX cargo ship is now docked at the International Space Station. Take a look at this. Pretty cool. They have the Dragon spacecraft, and it's launched Tuesday from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It carries more than 6,200 pounds of supplies and science experiments. According to NASA, it includes engineered heart tissues for the astronauts to study to learn more about the impact of microgravity on health and cardiac disease. NASA says 3D cultured cardiac muscle tissue will also help them assess human cardiac function in microgravity. Their findings could lead to new therapies for cardiac dysfunction back on Earth. Also on board, a device designed by high school students that clamps onto the station's handrail and keeps camera steady. The Dragon will remain at ISS for about a month before returning to Earth with more cargo and research. All right, good news there. Well, we will take a look at more on our forecast about the rain that's headed our way for tomorrow and a look at the cold weekend that we have ahead. All those details, stay with us.
West Shore Home is making shower and bath remodeling easy and more affordable for everyone. Hey everybody, I'm joined by Kirsten Page from West Shore to find out exactly how they're making that happen. Kirsten.
So Joe, we've been able to give homeowners, over 165,000 of them, the shower and bath of their dreams by making it a fast, easy, and convenient experience. But now we're making it even more affordable to start your project without breaking the bank.
Now Kirsten, when someone starts a remodeling project, costs can be a real concern. So how are you making it more affordable to start that project right now?
So instead of me telling you, why don't I show you? This homeowner was having some problems with their old shower. They called us, we stopped out, and we completely removed the old bathtub and replaced it with a walk-in shower in just one day. The best part? We can do a job like this for as low as $99 a month.
$99 a month, that's incredible.
It really is. We understand that budgets can be a little tighter this time of the year, so we want to make it easier for folks to get their projects started right now. So let's go ahead and look at another project we recently did. This homeowner was so excited to get rid of their old bathtub because they were getting an easy, low-step shower. You can see here we took out that old bathtub and removed everything down to the studs. Then we installed new walls and fixtures. By dinner time, this homeowner had their brand new shower, and the best part, they didn't need to worry about paying for their entire project up front. They were able to break it down into low monthly payments.
That project looks amazing, and the low monthly payments is going to make getting that project started so much easier. Kirsten, thanks so much. Folks, West Shore Home is making shower and bath remodeling fast and convenient, and you heard Kirsten, now they're making it more affordable too with their easy, low monthly payments. Call the number on your screen right now to start your project, and when you do, take advantage of this great offer. Call in now to get your new shower for as little as $99 a month. On top of that, they're doing free installation on all shower and bath projects. Don't delay. Call the experts at West Shore Home now.
Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. Live look from Grandview Medical Center, 67 degrees. A nice improvement after that cold pattern that we were dealing with throughout the week. We're going to have some chilly conditions coming back. And actually, if you look here at AccuTrack radar, you can see some of these freeze advisories popping up again. That's because of what's to come over the weekend and into next week. So what's happening right now, we're dry at the moment. It's going to stay mild, but that breeze, that wind's picked up out of the south direction. So that's going to actually make it feel cooler. You look at the app and you say, well, 70 out there, not too bad. If you're going to get a walk in around the neighborhood, you still want the windbreaker or some long sleeves out there. That breeze is going to add a little bit of a chill for tonight. And it's going to get a lot colder tomorrow. As Matt and Mickey, they were talking about those temperatures taking the big tumble. You can see this next system approaching, and this is mostly a lot of rain. Over 300 lightning strikes in that one radar view right there. There's some lightning, there's some rumbles, and a lot of rain. But that's going to be moving in late tonight. It wouldn't surprise me at all. 3, 4 in the morning, places like Hackleburg, Hamilton, you hear a loud rumble in the morning. There could be a few storms mixed in with some rain. Again, not expecting severe weather with this. There will be a risk down in South Alabama. For us, it's mostly just some rumbles, rain, and windy conditions. Now, the wind direction tomorrow through the first part of the day, notice this, south at 18 miles per hour. Watch how that will change as well. We have temperatures going up. As long as that wind's out of the south, notice it starts to change around by late morning, becoming more south-southwesterly as we have a front that's going to move through. Notice we have 60s, maybe a few rumbles here to the south, and then we get into the afternoon, 2 o'clock. It's a west wind, and then it's going to become more northerly, and that's going to bring in that colder air. Look at 2 o'clock showing 49 Hamilton. We have some data. The models are still struggling with the exact arrival of the cold air. There's some data that suggests by 2:30 we could see 40s in Birmingham. So grab the jacket in the morning. You may think that it's not going to be too cold when you head out in the morning, and certainly those temperatures will be in the 50s and 60s. But for the ride home, we're going to have some 40s, a cold north wind. Look at that breeze northwest at 11 miles per hour. There's 4 o'clock. And again, you can see 50s and 40s. All the rain's going to move out about 5 or 6. So if you have maybe a St. Patrick's Day gathering plan, getting together with some friends tomorrow night, you can expect dry weather conditions. Low temperatures overnight will drop into the mid-30s into Saturday morning. Let's stop it right here. Notice some areas to the north. We could get close to freezing around Coleman, perhaps around the Smith Lake area and back in towards Hamilton. So a first alert for that possibility. But the more widespread freeze, that's going to happen early on Sunday. Now, again, as far as that severe weather risk goes, that's mainly going to stay south. We're seeing the marginal risk that's very typical for the southern part of the state. But if I really had to pinpoint where we think the greatest risk for a severe storm is going to be, it's far, far south Alabama, closer to the coast. But I do want to point that out. I know we have a lot of folks down for spring break. Just make sure you have our weather app so you can get those alerts if we do have a severe storm that pops up. Main threats: gusty winds, although an isolated stray tornado can't be ruled out in that particular setup. But the cold temperatures, that will be one of the next big things. Again, lows early Sunday and then early on Monday, you can see dropping into the upper 20s. And then we start to warm up next week. It looks like around Wednesday and especially into Thursday, we're back up to near 74 degrees. So we'll see those temperatures make a nice rebound there towards the end of next week. But a lot of changes, they keep coming. The good news is the cold snaps this time of the year especially, they don't last quite as long. But want to head over to meteorologist Tania Michelle. And Tania, you were talking about those warmer temperatures today, close to 70 degrees. Unfortunately, it's back to jacket weather tomorrow.
You're exactly right, Wes. And I wanted to talk more about the rain too, because I know we're about to have the rain in our area for tomorrow. But let's head out to the west because they've already seen a heavy amount of rain and it swept through their area. Take a look at this video from the aftermath.
Well, good evening. The sun is setting here in Southern California and the water level is dipping ever so slightly. But look at what is all here from the latest atmospheric river system that has now left California in our backdrop. Up to 8 feet of water behind us. But residents here, they say this is certainly the worst flooding that they have seen here in about 30 years. And they aren't sure if they're going to have enough time to dry out. As one atmospheric river heads east, California braces for another.
We're tired. Everybody's tired.
More than 70,000 Californians ordered to flee their homes during the latest round of severe weather. The system turning streets into lakes and knocking out power to approximately 367,000 customers at its peak, according to PG&E. Meantime, residents in Monterey County are considering how to recover after a levee breach last week.
I want to cry, but what's crying going to do?
In Northern California, high winds toppled trees and damaged homes.
It sounded like a freight train hitting the house, and I immediately looked out the window, and that's when I saw it coming down.
Further south in Orange County, landslides Wednesday tore up patios and left homes dangling on the edge of a cliff.
I just heard a big bang and then just went outside and realized that a quarter of the patio was gone.
The yard's just gone, and I guess it's down the hill all the way to the trail.
Governor Gavin Newsom adding Orange County to the more than 40 counties already under a state of emergency.
You look back the last few years in this state, it's been fire to ice and, no warm bath in between.
With forecasters predicting another storm early next week, some resilient Californians are hoping for a break.
Just wait for the water to go down and start rebuilding.
Okay, so this is how far the water has fallen. A little bit of a better look. You can see that the water came up here around dawn, fallen by more than a foot. As we walk to show you the rest of this yard, this is a driveway underneath all of this water. Backyard, garden, and in July, or January, I should say, the water came all the way up to this front door. Again, we're expecting more rain Monday and Tuesday of next week. Neighbors are concerned again. They've just had enough of this. That's the latest here in Ventura County, California. I'm Mike Valerio. Back to you.
All right, well, thanks, Mike. We're actually headed over to Turkey, where at least 14 people have died from torrential rains and flooding across 2 Turkish provinces. The search for other missing people is ongoing. This is video showing rescue crews on the lookout for the remaining missing people. And Mother Nature has swallowed up another house along the North Carolina's Outer Banks. It's the 4th house collapse in Rodin in about a year, and officials say others are dangerously close to falling in the Atlantic as well. Angela Bahone has the story.
Their county officials adding that they just notified several more homeowners that their houses cannot be occupied until changes are made.
Mostly we've just been finding commingled house-related debris, so a lot of wood pieces, plywood, some pieces of plastic from other things inside the house.
National Park Service crews are scouring the beach after the ocean took down the 1-story house, churning and spitting up debris more than 20 miles away.
Today's a lot of hands-on work, so picking up what we can just to clean up all the smaller things first.
Meantime, the Tursky family visiting from Pittsburgh stopped by to document the ever-changing Rodanthe.
So it's just nice to take some pictures because next time we come back it might be completely different.
I'm sure, the owners have taken a loss, but it's a shame when such a beautiful beach is riddled with the rest of the house.
And the National Park Service says they are being proactive.
And we've contacted these homeowners over a year ago, letting them know that the ocean is getting closer to their home. 1,100 square foot house, that all of the contents in it is either now in the ocean, on the seafloor, or washing up on our beaches.
And they're warning visitors to be careful.
Folks are still coming to the National Seashore. I bet they didn't expect us to be with a convoy of trucks picking up trash from someone's home around them. But we do want to get it cleaned up because it's not good for the environment.
And in Minnesota, a mall remains closed days after part of its roof collapsed. Heavy snow caused the roof to collapse at Miller Hill Mall in Duluth on Tuesday morning. It happened before the mall opened to the public, so there were only a few people inside at the time, thank goodness, and no one was hurt, reportedly. But the collapse did cause significant damage. Crews are working to remove some of the snow while experts test to see how structurally safe the rest of the building is before allowing it to reopen. And now we'll have more details, actually a cool video of a family catching a shark on vacation after the break. Stay with us.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys.
Need to be in your tornado safe place. Get there right now as you have.
We have to get to our safe place because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know, weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert weather.
All right, well, welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm your First Alert meteorologist, Tania Michelle. And now it's hard to pick the best part of this next story. A vacationing family goes fishing in Florida and is shocked to reel in a great white shark. What? The kids on board become adorably ecstatic, and the family doesn't just catch a massive carnivore. They also catch the whole thing on camera. Lynn Martinez has the video. Take a look.
What do you think? Best day ever. The best day ever is how this little guy is describing this incredible fishing adventure. He and his family were out on the water in Fort Lauderdale when they nabbed a great white shark. There he is. 100 by 50. The family, who's from North Dakota, says it came to South Florida for an exciting fishing trip. So they booked a shark fishing adventure with Good Hit Sport Fishing. But they had no idea how eventful this trip would become. Well, in the fight to catch another fish, one of the men say they felt a great tug on their fishing line.
All of a sudden, when it hit the one rod, it just hit it and it took off. So we knew something was big.
The shark was so big, it took all 3 men to reel in the big guy.
We were alternating turns left and right. Probably, 20, 30 cranks, and then the next guy was on.
After about 40 minutes of tugging and pulling, they were finally able to reel in the big guy. A catch like this is extremely rare in South Florida, they say. In fact, it wasn't until they saw the reaction from the boat captain that they knew how special the capture was.
I've been doing this 20 years full-time as a captain, and that's the second one that I've landed. The last one was about 15 years ago.
With that in mind, everybody decided to keep this memory forever by snapping a couple of pictures and videos before letting him go, and the kids decided to give this large fish a cool name to remember him by.
We named it Colfax Crusher.
Okay, Colfax Crusher. And now we go from the sea to the sky. Scientists think they found proof that there have been water on Mars. They discovered what appears to be the remains of a glacier near the red planet's equator. That ice is no longer there. Evidence it may have once been. Comes in the form of salt deposits, which appear to have been pushed by a moving glacier. Researchers also found deep wedge-shaped openings known as crevice fields, I think I said that right. Those form inside glaciers. They believe those features were preserved when materials from a nearby volcano came in contact with the ice. If there really was a glacier there, that means there might still be water somewhere in Mars. Okay, pretty interesting, but we do have rain on Friday. This is a look at our 7-day forecast one more time. All right, notice that we have showers likely on St. Patrick's Day, low 60s, what we're expected for a daytime high. And then we see our temperatures drop pretty drastically overnight and for the start of your weekend. Look at that, 35 degrees as we bring in Saturday. 52 degrees for a daytime high on Saturday with a first alert for freezing temperatures overnight Saturday and again overnight Sunday night into the start of your upcoming week. We start spring pretty cold. Listen, I'd say Monday morning you definitely want to have the layers, bundle up. We're talking upper 20s, below freezing temperatures once again. Spring looks cold too with a daytime high mid 50s, possibly some upper 50s, but we do rebound in our temperatures by mid to late next week. Midweek on Wednesday, daytime highs in the upper 60s, so that's not bad. And then we reach the 70-degree mark by Thursday, but notice those overnight temperatures still pretty chilly. You definitely want to have those layers on. But thank you so much for joining us tonight on First Alert Weather Extra. I'm your First Alert meteorologist, Tania Michelle. You can catch us again tomorrow night at 6:30 and every weekday night at 6:30 for First Alert Weather Extra. Tune in tonight for First at 9 for more details on your forecast and an update on the timing of the rain that we're expecting for St. Patrick's Day. Once again, thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful Thursday evening. This is First Alert Weather Extra.